Good evening, everybody. Coming to you live from a Super 8 in Henderson, Colorado, just northeast of Denver. I'm actually started a vacation today, and I will end up in Durango, Colorado. So tonight's show will be coming from the lovely room you see behind me. We've got an intro. Tell me what you thought. I know it wasn't much. You got to remember, it was me that did it. I did the best I could, so I hope you guys enjoyed it. Got some stuff to chew on this week, don't we? Let's tell you what. We will be having a guest here in the first 5 or 10 minutes. So if I stop in the middle of this when I see her pop on, we're just gonna go to her right away. But let's just dive right into some of the numbers on the Rutgers game. I was there. I'm not sure how many of you were. Pretty sure y'all watched it. Wasn't pretty. Wasn't pretty. It was beautiful if you love windy days and the defense just having the advantage because of that. Yeah, not a lot of yards gained. Nebraska was actually on their way to a 400-yard game. I think they had around 206 or so at halftime, and then just shut it the fuck down in the second half. I mean, the second half numbers like 55, some give or take a few around there. Rutgers did end up edging us in total yards, 264 to 261. They threw for a little more than we did, but Ethan Kaliak-Manis, and thank God I don't have to type that name again for probably the rest of the year. I'm not going to be referring to him just because I'm tired of typing Kaliak-Manis and making sure I spelled it right yet again. Kaliak-Manis, 15 of 37, 186 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. I think you can agree that you'll take that every single time for your opposing quarterback stat line. He not that great a passer, and let's for comparison. Here's Dylan Raiola. I don't think he'd been under like 63% all year, and he was 13 of 27 for 134 yards and 1 pick. We outrushed them 97 to 78, but no one was really gaining much of anything anywhere. And tell you what, and we'll come back to that. Bringing in Mylie Ketterson, how are you?
That's good. Right. Where are you?
I was just explaining to them I'm on my way to Durango again, so I'm at a Super 8 just northeast of Denver. So it's probably looking cleaner than my wall. So yes, apologies to everyone. We don't have Warren Sapp sucking on oxygen looking over my shoulder this week, but Mylie agreed to come in and spend a few minutes with us to catch us up on volleyball. Mylie, thanks for coming.
Yep.
You're welcome. I tell you what was I going to say? Yeah, nepotism is alive and well in Corn Nation, at least where Mylie and I are concerned.
Yeah.
We had actually, it's like her grandmother, my mother, was so proud. I told her there was one. It was, I believe, Thursday. Is that when Huskers played volleyball and you had I think they played. Was it Illinois?
Yeah, they played Illinois Thursday.
Okay. And anyway, so Mylie had the volleyball writing duty that night, so she did like a how to watch, a pregame, and then a postgame recap. And in the middle of it came my column, the 24-hour rule. So we actually had like the entire top of the Corn Nation webpage with nothing but the Kettersons. And I told my mom that when I was talking to her today on the phone. She seemed very, very proud, and she was like, "I'll go look it up now." I'm like, "Mom, always love explaining technology to the old people. We're constantly turning up the articles." That lasted till about Friday morning, whenever the flakes came out. But anyway, let's get to why I asked you to come in today. Volleyball, and start, if you will, and anybody, if you have questions, plug them in the comments, and we'll check it before we let her go. So there seemed to be like a rock bottom moment when they lost to SMU a few weeks ago. Unranked first time.
Did you say a few days ago?
What's that?
Did you say a few days ago?
No, what happened?
That was like a few weeks ago when they lost.
I said it. No, I said a few weeks ago.
Oh, okay.
A few weeks ago. And so here came out it's been this long since they lost to an unranked team, et cetera. Why don't you fill us in? Just don't need to go, blow by blow, but how have the Huskers been doing since that upset?
I mean, I think they took that one pretty personally. After that upset, they swept Stanford 3-0. Stanford was number 2 at the time. And then right after that, they swept Louisville 3-0. And they were, I think they're number 4. I think they're still number 4. So, yeah, they took it pretty personally after that loss. And ever since that, I mean, they've won 11 in a row, 12 in a row
Like
now.
that. Yeah,
11 in a row, I think.
I didn't expect you to come loaded on the exact stats. I'm fudging myself here and there. What does the starting lineup look like now, or who's getting the most playing time at some of the contested positions, that sort of thing?
The normal starting lineup. So the people that have stayed consistent are Harper Murray, Lexi, Becca Alec, Merritt Beeson. But then Andy Jackson's been hurt these last 2 matches, so Layla Blackwell has been getting the start. And then Lindsay Krause started the season in the starting lineup, but she didn't start this last week. Taylor Landfair started in place for her for the last 2 matches. Lindsay wasn't hurt or anything. It just seemed like Taylor was playing better. But in the Iowa match, Taylor didn't have that. She wasn't having that great of a game through 2 sets. So John Cook took her out and put Lindsay back in. So
gotcha.
He's been messing with that with OH2 a lot because I mean it's the team is just so deep that it's hard to, I don't know. There's just so much competition. And
go ahead.
I was gonna say he's redshirting Skylar Pierce, so we won't see her at all this season.
Yeah, you actually kind of led me into that into my next question, or maybe gave a little bit of the answer. How tough is it for John Cook? Because I remember somebody went, "Hey, it was a couple of years ago, 2-3 years ago." Somebody said, "Boy, you wish John Cook could, lay some of the recruiting advice on Scott Frost to help him out a little bit." Not that Frost was doing horribly in recruiting, and the response he got was, "Well, here's how John Cook basically now can just walk in and basically pluck the most of the best players in the country."
I mean, basically.
And so that everybody on this roster is going to be pretty highly touted.
Yeah.
How do you think he juggles that and manages to keep everyone happy? And you can see sometimes with the transfers, it's impossible to keep all of them happy. But how would you say how do you do that?
I really don't even know, to be honest, because I mean, it was a big shock to a lot of people, I think, when Taylor Landfair did come to Nebraska, because we are so deep and she is such a good player that, I mean, I don't think she knew if she was going to play or not, but she decided to take the chance anyways. And a lot of people are questioning, like, why is she on the bench? Why isn't she playing? But the team is just so deep that she's not. I mean, she's not the best outside hitter we have right now. I think Harper Murray is definitely one of the best on the team. He's been having an outstanding season, but yeah, I really don't know how he juggles that, to be honest.
So Taylor Landfair, when she was at Minnesota, correct me, I know I'm not going to be 100% on this. She was an All-American as a freshman. Is that right? Or was it a sophomore? I think she was an All-American. Well, and then it was like, I thought sophomore year, like she was still all conference. And then it seemed like after that, something started happening there. And that's what got her looking to transfer.
She was Big Ten player. She was Big Ten Player of the Year, 2022. And then their coach retired. And so last season they had a new coach, and it just seemed like she didn't really, it didn't seem like she was happy there anymore. So she transferred.
Right.
She redshirted her freshman season, I believe. She got hurt.
Okay.
So, so she's a senior this year. She's a senior this year. She's going to play next season as well, because she has that redshirt year. So she'll be playing a 5th year.
Yeah. Good. Okay. Let's talk about Harper Murray. I mean, not to drag everything, but obviously there were issues. It appears she's back bouncing back from them really well, and with like the full support of teammates, and
Mm-hmm.
especially John Cook. Just for me, when normally she'd pop up in the TikTok feed, just like with all the volleyball players that have TikToks, but now it's like gotten like really funny because John Cook now has a TikTok account, which he didn't start apparently.
Yeah, no.
and he's and
It's
he said that just basically, yeah, I think Harper did it, and it just
it's
seems like they are having a lot of fun with him on his TikTok account,
yeah.
and he seems to be just rolling with it, just if it keeps the team happy. But just tell us what you know about what's going on there.
It's funny because he won't like do TikToks unless Merritt is around because he trusts Merritt more. I mean, because she's older and stuff. So
Yeah,
yeah, but I think Harper, she just has great support. I think at Nebraska, and I mean, ESPN did a really good article on Harper after all that happened when she said, "Oh, we're going to win 3 national championships in the next 3 years." And even in that documentary, it showed like people really came at her online, and she did start to spiral. But she did, this was part of the ESPN article. She did like an inpatient stay at like a mental health facility. She went on a retreat. So I think I think during the off season, she really just got her mind right after everything that happened. Plus, everyone's just supporting her as well. And I actually saw this on Twitter today, that Merritt has said that her growth is amazing and it shocked her. And she's just blown away with the response that she's had. So I think that's really good to come from Merritt because Merritt's one of the team leaders. So
well, and yeah, and I had read, and I know that this isn't to hammer you, but I know that Harper used to irritate you a little.
yeah,
But then you read about things like I saw, and they had some of those tweets coming back at her, like you should kill yourself, and just I'm like, how like awful do you have to be to, good grief, to just say that to somebody you don't even know? I can get like, haha, we beat you, that sort of thing. Because
yeah,
as I understand it, she did not realize that kind of hate was out there. And it affected her to the point where she was just on her phone every waking moment looking for more. Because for some, for whatever reason, she was obsessed with like finding out,
she wants to know what people are saying about her.
right. And then,
And
I think now she's learning, from when that story came out, I think now it's probably going the other way because she learned, hey, nobody thinks you deserve that, and really found out it, because for a while it just sounded like she thought there was just a world of hate out there for her.
yeah,
As it turns out, hey, here came support, not just from team and coaches and Nebraska fans, but it sounded like it just started coming all over. Just, hey, no one deserves that. We're behind you, and she's reacted in a positive way. It's, I think, like instead of kind of getting a big head about it, she seems like to have taken it to heart and just seems to be enjoying life a lot more now that it's not everyone, it's a few weirdos, but most people when they hear that story are going to support you.
yeah, yeah.
Uh,
He really hit it on the head there.
hey, we have a couple comments here. Joe, God, Lilicus, if I'm mispronouncing it, I apologize, but Joe, welcome aboard. Says Lexrod is the super glue that holds that squad together. Fair statement.
Yeah. Her and Merritt really do work together well to keep that team locked in and ready to go. I mean,
Seems to be, hey, here's one that's in your wheelhouse, so I'm going to throw this at you from Carl Pence. Welcome, Carl. Mylie, why did Allie Battenhorst really transfer to USC?
it's Batenhorst.
Batenhorst, sorry. And I
So,
know that.
yeah. So there's no bad blood there at all. She actually trained with the team up until she graduated in May, which is really cool because in Taylor Landfair and Layla Blackwell's situation, they got locked out of their gyms. So they weren't training at all during the spring because they decided to enter the transfer portal. But John Cook was nice enough to let Allie stay. But it sounds like she transferred because she wanted to be a 6 rotation player, which she wasn't going to be at Nebraska. Hell, she probably wouldn't even be in the starting lineup. She really wasn't last year. So I think she really just wanted that chance to play 6 rotations. And USC was the place to do it. Plus, Tyler Hildebrand, he was an assistant at Nebraska with John Cook. He is an assistant at USC now. So she also
Oh,
went to him.
I did not know I thought wasn't he head coach at Pepperdine for a couple years?
No, he's at Long Beach State.
Long Beach State. That he played at Pepperdine, and
Yep.
Let's see. And Allie also, I understand, played on their beach volleyball team.
Yep, she did.
On one. So she was fooling with the team.
Yeah.
I remember just seeing plenty of social media stuff where she's just wonderful, and it kind of goes back. And I think this was like with Trev Alberts, and definitely with Rule Cook and Hoiberg behind them. Is they just decided, as far as transfers go, the attitude is just going forward, no matter the reason, is once a Husker, always a Husker, and you'll always be welcome back. And I feel like Allie was the first one who really got to ride that horse. And it was really great seeing her come back with Southern Cal and start getting teary-eyed because she got a huge ovation.
Yeah.
I loved her teammates just like, get away from me, like shoved, because here she is being cheered by the Nebraska crowd. And how could you not have it get a little dusty in there when that.
Yeah. And then Lexi and Kennedy and Harper gave one of the little game balls that they throw out to the fans during starting lineups. They went and gave one of those to her. So that's Husker, always a Husker, except if your name's Whitney Lonstein and you go to Texas.
Well, it's happy, keep it positive tonight. And you know what? Who knows? Maybe down the road we'll welcome Whitney back and everybody will make up. You just never know.
Hopefully she won't be bad for too long.
Yeah. Let's see. One quick thing. Last week I was berated by a few of our watchers here because we call this the Husker Happy Hour. Let's see, where's the picture here? Boom. Hey, and I actually got the intro done tonight. But and they were, I can't remember. It's like, I think it was Pit Snipe, and I don't see him here yet, but he was talking about the chewables or whatever he was starting off the evening with. And they were like, happy hour, and you're not even drinking. What the hell? So from the hotel here, I got one of my mini Tanner's cups that basically represents probably half of my drinkware, and it is got some Coke Zero and a little additive that a certain sailor man named Jerry distills in the Pacific. I don't know if that's true or not, but so
I had a nice happy hour on happy hours on Saturday night to last me a couple weeks. So
yeah, I Saturday night I came back. I got back after I wrote up the recap, and actually got back really fast from Lincoln and left like maybe hour and 15 minutes after the game ended. So I don't know if everybody was out roasting inside and just said screw it, I'm going home.
Maybe.
It cooled off pretty nicely, but yeah, so I got back and they're like, hey, who needs a shot? And I was like, not I. I mentioned it. I think in one of the Corn Nation posts that. I'm eating a salad as part of a delicious balanced meal in the press box, but my hungover gut is calling for white bread and grease.
That was me on Sunday.
Yeah, I was dragging around a little. Hopefully it won't happen tomorrow. I got to get up early and drive, but yeah, be known that, and Aaron Kane right there. Oh man, Andy gave in to peer pressure. Time to go back through the DARE program. Okay, well, number one, I've never been through the DARE program.
I don't know what that is.
Yeah, I'm not going to do it now. No one likes a quitter. And and as far as peer pressure, it's like I do it enough on my own. I just been running around and didn't think when we were about to start that I need a drink. Once everybody starts commenting, I think pretty damn quick I need a drink. Mylie, carry on. Thank you, Aaron. Carl Pence has a question for you, Mylie, and then we'll get you out of here. Mylie, why was Harper not suspended for more than one game from the Big Ten or NCAA when she committed a DUI and shoplifting? Doesn't it send the wrong message not to suspend for criminal behavior? Go ahead. Now answer that.
She was suspended by the school for the spring game. I can't really say anything about the Big Ten or NCAA.
Well, I can answer that. They don't really. I don't believe either of them require anything in the way of suspension. Go ahead.
Just look at Georgia football.
Oh, that's exactly where I was about to go, because they all get suspended. But what the really funny story about Georgia football goes back to when Mark Richt was coaching there, and he ended up he was like your classic Osborne Pelini, the early days where he would win 9-10 every year and just couldn't win that conference title, couldn't beat Florida out for that division. But one thing he was known for was suspending them for any little thing that they did over the summer. So that first game, there was always about 20, anywhere from 10 to 25 guys out for those games. And I'd known that for years. And it got to the point where the SEC leadership was asking them to knock it off. It's like, can you not suspend them like urinating in public? And, boom, you're out for the first game. No, they asked him, like, you're making the other schools look like they don't have any control when you suspend for every little misdemeanor. And he's like, well, that's how I'm going to run my team. Sorry. And then it got it got publicized because Steve Spurrier, South Carolina would play Georgia first game of the year a lot. And one year they moved it to like early November, and they asked Spurrier what he thought of that. And he said, well, he goes, to be honest, I hate it because usually we play them at the beginning of the year and they got like 20 guys suspended. So they're like, damn you, Spurrier. But yeah, that's right. And that's pretty funny. So yeah, my thing is, I think that they pretty much leave that to the coaches. And the thing is, committing the same crimes won't necessarily get you the same suspension because they're watching. Are you trying to make it right? Are you showing remorse?
That's what I was
doing. What we tell you. And
that's
and
what
I understand. Yeah, go ahead.
That's what I was going to say is I think the Big Ten and NCAA really leave it to the coaches. And I think, she went and got help from a mental institution. She went on a retreat, and then she was always just talking to John Cook and always communicating with him after that. So I think in his eyes, she was doing enough to show him that she was doing better.
Right.
So I'm guessing that's why he didn't suspend her for more than the spring game. But I mean, we're never gonna know. John Cook's never gonna come out and say, "This is what she did. This is why I did." So there's really no right answer to that. I don't know.
Yeah, it just depends. And from what I understand, she checked every single box they put in front of her, and they laid out a pretty tough road for her. So I figure if you're doing that, and for one thing, if you're doing that and you're just like blowing it off, you're blaming others and all that, you're probably going to get a nice suspension slapped on you, and then a let's try again. And also, I know it was two different offenses, but they were within like a week of each other, and
probably a month.
Was it a month? Okay.
I think the DUI was early April, and the shoplifting was early May.
Okay, but as everything came out, it's fair to probably say that the two were connected due to what she was going through. So, yeah, it's like sometimes I go, why didn't they get more? They're never going to say, well, over the summer when I was at Big Ten Media Days, they asked Matt Rule, so why did Evan Cooper leave the team? And why was he off and then gone? And Matt Rule goes, well, here's the thing. Kids leave, coaches leave. And that's Evan Cooper's story to tell you. It's not my story to tell. You can ask him. I don't know what he'll say. Probably, I want to keep that private. And he goes, but that's his place, not mine. And so that's always going to be a coach's place with the players. And the only time it doesn't is when you do get accused of a crime, then it's in the arrest warrants and the record or the arrest report and all that. So that's why it goes public then. Let me see a couple.
I doubt she'll say anything about it anymore since it's in the past. So,
right. I thought Andy was related to Sloan Kettering from Step Brothers, but it's Ketterson. Thanks, Tiger Shark Diver. I think I was telling people that I went on a show a few weeks ago before Illinois called the Voice of College Football, and they put me up there as Matt Kettering, Brad Kettering, or Matt Kettering or something. And I went, yeah, it's Andy Ketterson. And so, well, great. And then underneath me, Andy Kettering. And I'm like, close enough. Well, I tell you what. Oh, Fred Sacco. Hey, fucks. I'm on vacation. Have a great night. Shit ass. I said it, shit ass. Fred, I'm on vacation too. This is just just unacceptable, Fred. You can be doing this. Well, unless you want to hang around, and you're more than welcome. You can get out of here if you want.
Time for me to go to bed.
All right. Hey, everybody. Thank you, Mylie. Say thanks to Mylie. She can't hear you. Put it in the comments. Mylie, I really appreciate it. I've been wanting to get you on here for a couple of weeks, and I know you've been busy, so good to see you, and I'll see you sometime when I get back.
Have fun hiking. Don't get airlifted.
Nope. Well, if I do, you know what? If I do, I hope there's a couple hotties there again.
All right. Bye.
Bye, daughter. See you, Mylie.
Jesus.
All right, that's fun. It's like, believe it or not, I enjoy having my daughter around. Let's see, we haven't got a ton of comments yet. Now here's something that was interesting. I didn't know. A little pregame comment this afternoon. Tiger Shark Diver said that cornerback Sayer Wright was PFF's highest graded cornerback from week 6, and I think it was then Justin that pointed out that Tommy Hill got the top grade earlier in the year, and hey, awesome! I thought Sayer Wright's been doing a pretty solid job. Grabbed another pick. I think I tweeted out, just because I saw the number wrong, I tweeted out that it was Javen Wright, but I was happy to see Javen Wright back and playing again. And so, all right, I got it wrong, but I was still happy to see Javen Wright back. Then these were just questions. Oh, there's Mylie's supported boyfriend Connor, the Cowboys and Celtics fan, and he went, nice championship banner background, because he had all his Celtics crap hanging on the wall. Other than that, let's see, I've given in to peer pressure, and I'm not re-entering Dare. No way. Turd Ferguson, and that spelling might be Ferguson, which would separate you from Norm McDonald, so no one will make the mistake. But going to the Nebraska Kearney football game, sounds like Kearney thinks, I just, from glancing at other things, it sounds like they have a team that they're getting quietly hopeful about come state playoff time out there. We'll see what happens. No cursing from Aaron Kane called Fred's little cursing rampage a Sacco bomb. Yep. There you go. Okay, there we go. Turd going to the Nebraska Kearney football game, inexpensive Nebraska football with a high school game feel. Tiger Shark Diver says Fred's on vacation in Gary, Indiana. All the hotels in Flint, Michigan were full. Our Husker. Oh yeah, well, Carl, we'll get to the grades, and yeah, I figure, although we might have to move that up to a D minus, just because of the way Brian Bashini finished the game. He was the Big Ten punter or special teams player of the week, I think. And so if you get one of the 6 Big Ten special teams player of the week, I don't think I can hang an F on you. I can hang a D minus with prejudice, but we'll let that work itself out. So anyway, we were in the middle before Mylie so rudely interrupted us of talking about the Rutgers NU game, and I was just throwing out some of the ugly numbers. Nobody threw for 200 yards, no one ran for 100 yards. The teams had 4 sacks apiece. Then I believe we had 9 tackles for loss, and they had 7. The penalties, 7 for 37 for us, 4 for 28 for Rutgers. But again, we had some really shady shit from the refs. 2 particular things. And if anybody goes, you got to let the reffing thing go, overcome it. Nah, I've given up. It makes me feel so much better just to call them out for it, even if it's just our little crowd here. The first thing was when people don't, I think, realize how awesome that goal line stand of ours was. We had stopped them once, and then they called what on replay looked like really sketchy offensive pass interference. They got to line up and go again. Or maybe that was on second down. So I think they got 6 shots at it from inside the 5. So that is the goal line stand of the year right there. And yeah, another bullshit shady penalty to help it out. And then there were 3 targetings committed by Rutgers. The first one got the flag, and he must have been a rookie or not with the program, because he was informed that he was going to be picking that flag up, even though the replay clearly showed targeting. And then there was another one, I believe, on a pass reception, and then the one where the guy they overturned it saying he got pushed, and it's like, yeah, he got pushed, but he clearly ducked the head, showed the crown, and lunged harder head to head. And bullshit. I'm sorry. Now it's getting dangerous out there with these shenanigans. And I think I angrily in my recap wrote, it's time to say something to the league. It's time to send them these videos. And if and when they shut a blind eye to it because it's not Ohio State or Michigan, then perhaps I don't know. I don't even know, but you look and see if there's another avenue to pursue, even if it is just calling it out publicly, showing the videos to let them know how stupid it looks, and then eating whatever fine comes along is I don't know, act of rebellion. I don't know what the answer is, but it's just been going on for 6, 7 plus more years, more like 10, and I've had it. So let me couple of defensive numbers for you. Luke Gifford had a big game, led the team in tackles, 1.5 tackles for loss, broke up a pass, got a hit on the and when it's a quarterback hit, I mean a clean one. Got a quarterback hit. We talked about Sarah Wright grading out top, had a pickoff. Marcus Buford, who they went after, who everyone's going after, it looks like. And he was my preseason pick to lead the team in picks just because I figured, no pun intended, he was going to get picked on this year. And he had a pick and broke up 3 passes. Rushing, Kyle Monangai, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, 19 of 78, 19 carries for 78 yards, 63 of those yards in the first quarter. And I was going, what was Greg Schiano thinking? Well, it was what Tony White was thinking, I guess. He put in extra offensive lineman, an extra backer, and broke away from the 3-5 to make it large up front. And Schiano didn't really want to challenge. Second quarter, he didn't want to challenge it and just went to the air nonstop. I think they ran it maybe twice in the second quarter and then threw it the rest of the time. So good for you, Tony White. Good play, and good to know that we can go to a big set if the situation requires it. And it was requiring it. He was Monangai, I think, popped 3 runs of over 10 yards. He was averaging about 8 yards a carry, something like that. He was gashing us, and they were just doing like, big line one way and pulling a guy from the other side to lead through that hole, and they were opening holes. And he was really good. I hadn't watched him before this game. Fantastic at finding being a little patient and then waiting for the hole to open up and popping. Something we're not doing too well at times. There's a few times where we're seeing some big field or big space to one side, and they're running the other way into bodies and taking a few yards off the totals. And get in there in the comments and tell me if the rest of you are seeing any of that. Then the final number was, and I don't know if you saw his post-game interview, James Williams had apparently been going through quite a bit. I thought last year they were just, hey, he's in here for the first year, let's redshirt him. And I guess he was having a lot of problems, a lot of mental issues, kind of feeling like, he was just by himself with nobody out there to help. And apparently Terrence Knight, his line coach, absolutely helped him out. And he was playing more and more this year. And it finally all came together in this Rutgers game. He had 5 tackles, 2 sacks, tackles for losses, two quarterback hits, and a few others where he may not have gotten a tackle for a loss, a sack, or a hit, but he was right there. And then he was just obviously emotional. You saw him and Knighton just sharing a huge hug on the sideline, like near the end of the game or post game. Fun to see. You love it when you stick with a guy and they give back. They come through for the people that put their trust in him. This is a story. I mean, and obviously it's still got to play out. I was really happy watching it play out Saturday evening. Now our rushing attack, this time Emmett only 14 carries for 33 yards, so he earned the carries and found the going a little rougher, but they stuck with him. Let's see, Dowdell had a hard fought 14 carries for 57 yards. He popped a few nice runs when he needed them, scored a touchdown. Ramir Johnson had the game. He was 5 carries for 34 yards, nice little average. And then also, I did not scribble it down, but he also caught several passes, I think, for about 40 or 50 yards. So he led the running backs in total yardage. The nicest looking one was the screen, very nicely set up screen that Rayola hit him on the numbers with, and he jetted for about 25 yards and then dragged people for about another 10 for a 36-yard gain. That was really fun to see. let me check some comments here, and then I'll give you some of my thoughts on those numbers, and we'll see if any of yours are in here. Sire Wright, okay. Nebraska Rascal, good to see you. Sire Wright ranked as third best cornerback in the Big Ten right now. Nice to see. He really seemed to come on in that first game where Tommy was hurt and do a real good job. I'm fun to see it. You kind of wonder what you're getting in the portal when it's someone on last year's Southern Cal defense, which was a sieve. Let's just call it what it was. That just had Caleb Williams in these 48 to 45 type games consistently. Carl Pence had to keep with our love of our special teams coach. Ed Foley needs to be fired immediately. And somebody was saying, gee, if only there was somebody in Lincoln who had a pretty good track record in that capacity and maybe might be interested in Bill Bush, in possibly taking that on. I don't know. We'll see. I get the feeling you're going to get a long rope with Matt Rule to fix it. The ropes, I don't know if he does mid-season firings. The rope's nearing the end here. Carl Pence, my man. Zebras suck the big one. They are constantly biased against the Huskers. And, you used to be like, well, maybe it's all in my head. It's not. They are. And here, Aaron Kane doesn't Rule said videos weekly. Probably time to take the next step after coordinating with the other coaches to do the same. Yeah, they do. I know that he said they have a talk. I assume they send videos weekly. I'm starting to wonder if you bother at this point because obviously, or maybe they do. Maybe they did it, a few years ago with Riley or Pelini or whatever, and the referees, when being corrected, maybe just decided to go, fuck you, and not really take it as a learning moment. James Williams and C. Wright get black shirts this week. I haven't seen it, and I saw all the emails that went out from the athletic department today, and it wasn't on there. Justin Rogi's in agreement. I don't know the exact James Williams story. I was more going off his responses, where he was talking about how he felt like he was at rock bottom. Grades might have been involved as well. It just sounded like, for whatever reason, he was in a dark place. But he didn't specify, so I don't know. But he was saying there were problems. He came from a ways away and didn't know anybody, and maybe it just wasn't connecting early on. It sounds like things, kind of funny that we talk about Harper Murray earlier. It sounds like obviously not from a legal standpoint, but that here are two young people that just were having a really bad time of things and have managed to get it turned around through the help of their teammates and their coaches. It sounds like we can, knock on wood, we can be happy for the both of them. Can we get some new refs in the transfer portal? Oh, okay. I think I've told you guys this. Our Corn Nation account has like 3 different voices. So you got 3 of us. And I believe it was Nate that writes for us, who's the one that, and I mentioned his name not to out him, but to say I could not agree more than the 100% I agree with it with. He tweeted out, hey everybody, it's not the transfer portal and NIL that's the big problem in college football. Refereeing needs to be nationalized, and I couldn't agree with it more, especially. I remember just 2 years ago when Illinois was just like backed up the field. They were about to upset Michigan, and Michigan was heading for the playoff, and it's the next to last game of the year. And all of a sudden, it's just flag after flag that really can't be defended by the replays. And eventually, Michigan scores and wins, and it's just there's too much money in it, and I don't know. It's just the refs are. Let's put it this way: the conference is going to be cheering for Michigan in that scenario. And they can barely contain it anyway. But if they're in a place of power to make sure that team goes to the playoff and makes the conference and everybody in it a bunch of money, because there's always a big piece of that kitty that everybody splits up, you just wonder, is somebody going to nudge that elbow and make that call? And I don't know. It's just going national takes the conference angle out of it in conference games. And I maybe you have to fly some guys from different parts of the country. You spend a little more money. Guys, college football is not short of money. It's not paying the players yet. And they're just like, as a group, there's cash to burn. Do the right thing. Don't let them question the integrity of the game when there's a pretty simple fix. So Nate, I love that tweet. Carl, it's not the portal, but that could be a fix. Who we got here? PT. How hard is it, Greg? Hey, all good to have you here. Missing the whole Husker story. Yeah. Okay. Here we go. Let's see. Husker O-line. We'll remember these because I'm gonna call for some grades. So go ahead and start throwing them. Husker O-line gets a midseason D grade. We are not getting enough yardage running the ball, and Raiola is getting blasted way too much. And before, about halfway through the game, somewhere in there, the second half is when it really bled, and then it really, really bled in the overtime against Illinois. But before that, I would have said, the running the ball can always improve, but it's okay. It's not terrible. And I feel like it's improving. But holy crap, I was like, they're keeping Raiola clean. Not now. We'll have to see. I don't know if I'd go D, but I wouldn't go much higher if I'm going. Let's see. Missing the whole, our old head coach after a 98-25. Never forget Nebraska. Never forget. Okay. This I didn't see. Tiger Shark TSD says the whole team embraced James Williams at the end of the game, so it must be something big. And I think it was just everything coming together. That was kind of the impression I got in the interview. It was like, and I've been working and everybody's been behind me, and now it's like I don't feel at all like I did last year. And I think he goes, and tonight I finally got to really do big things to help my team win. And I would like to see a lot more power eye with two tight ends instead of shotgun or pistol formation. Well, Carl, I hear you. Get a run the damn ball T-shirt. The only thing is, you don't get a quarterback like Dylan Raiola and stuff him under center in a two tight end offense. And I'll say this right now. Let's just, as far as him and even Callie Manis, that's not going to be every game for the rest of the year. That wind was redonkulous. I tweeted a picture of the balloons when they were released. That thing got like 32,000 watches. And here were all just these balloon vortexes over the state. They took forever. A lot of them took forever to get off like the lower level of the field. And then they were just hanging around spinning on the top of the field. It was something to watch. Somebody answers the tweet with, "Oh my God, don't kick anything today." It's like there's like 8 tornadoes above the stadium. I'm not worried about Raiola. I don't think it's suddenly freshman mistakes and he can't hit the broadside of the barn. I'm calling until I'm shown different over the coming weeks. I think he's still going to be the guy hovering around a 70% completion rate. And that one interception, that looked like I'm thinking him, possibly a route runner, but at the end of it, definitely on him, because you should at least take a glance at that pass you're throwing to a spot, and there was nobody in the neighborhood. And to be honest, that was his first like true interception of the year. The other two had our receivers with both hands on the ball, and then we could fight amongst ourselves whether overturning it or calling it an interception was right or wrong. But anyway, he's going to be fine. He's not going to be rattled by that. But I did understand. I did understand why Rule, Satterfield, Thomas went to the ground. I just wish the play calling could have been a little more imaginative. It really just felt like we're just going to run 3 plays, run as much clock as we can, and try to kill a quarter and a half again. And just did get there, didn't we? It feels like we run read option over and over. Well, the thing with the read option, if Raiola's in there, is you're not going to see him keep that hardly ever. So I don't know if that's just like run RPO we're talking. Let's see. Why not? Justin, ex-head coach, didn't miss any holes at the Lipstick Cabaret. Yeah. Boom. Yeah. Everyone drink. Oh, that's so good after a drive to Denver from Omaha. Wonder if Maz Cool will be let out of the doghouse, our best run blocker. Well, he'd already been pushed into a backup role, and I think that might have been more for behavior, but it happened mid-game, so I don't know if there was yelling at the coaches mid-game. He was back on the depth chart, and he was in uniform, so we'll see how it plays out. I mean, it's your last year, man. Come on, get it together. And that's the size that that guy has NFL size and some skills. I think you'd not be wanting to show the NFL. I just like to yell and speak my mind. Good God. Let's see. It does Pence. Somebody needs to crack a couple of the rushing playbooks that we know occupy an extensive library in that stadium. I do like the back and forth here. On the one hand, we need to run the double tight end power eye. On the other hand, we can't run block for shit. So we'll see how that did it. Yeah, somebody said they saw him in there in short yard situations. Yeah, yep. PT. Can't tell. Stupid contacts are gummed up. Or PIT. I only noticed Maz on the goal line. Yeah, and that's probably to add a few. I wonder. No, I wonder if Knight will respond if I send an email because special teams is putting me in a dark place. Good one. Boom. I like that one. Williams had 0 D1 offers. Yeah, offers and end up. I remember at Iowa Western, balled out, grades improved, showed up at a camp and got picked up. Yep. Oh yeah, that was definitely a nice camp deal. Refs need to be paid full time to know the rules and have consistency. Yeah, that's the only problem with that is if the NFL is not going to do that, college sure as hell isn't. With how slow the NCAA works, we can expect national refs in about 5 years at the earliest. They just need a lawsuit against the refs to kick their butt in gear. Well, that's just going to be 5 years because that's the speed they work at. It's going to be another 5 years because they're going to be scratching their ears to let them know, it's not your fault. It's not your fault. I'll repeat John again. Says refs need to be year-round professionals organized into a company. Yeah, the thing is, they're not going to do it, and I mean that's my thing. Is I've said the NFL needs to do this so bad, so they're not. It's like I get it. It's cheap. Contract workers are cheaper. You don't have to pay them. You don't have to give them any benefits. So they're all just like part-time job guys. And I don't know. I don't know how much Cleat makes in his legal practice, but you put them all on salary for a couple of $100,000 a year. I mean, that's nothing to the NFL. Then if the NFL does it, maybe college follows along. Yeah, DR showed some frustrated body language. First bad game, freshman. I didn't see him like. I'm telling you what. What do you think Shadur's body language would have been in a game like that with the wind blowing his ball around? And we know what his body language is. It's flip out, scream, wave your arms. Jeez. What's it going to take for Rusty Holst? What's it going to take for Nebraska to stop averaging 70-plus yards a game in penalties? Love this channel, by the way. Hey, love you being in here, Rusty. Now, to be fair, Nebraska, like I think I said it. Who cares? Only took 37 yards in penalties that game, and I would argue that both offensive or defensive holding penalties were bullshit. So I thought it was a much improved game penalty wise in a physical game. Only one O-line call last week. Not sure what our total was. Wasn't bad. Yeah, Tiger Shark. If you didn't catch me here at the very beginning, I am in a Super 8 in Henderson, Colorado. I'm making my way for my annual sojourn to the Durango, Colorado area to do a little hiking and whatnot. And so I just decided to get to Denver today, and yep, I am set up. It just is that not lovely painting over the bed, a waterfall. You can see the side of it there. So yes, I am hotel bound. Yeah, Tiger Shark Diver. My favorite is whenever the NCAA goes into a lawsuit because they go into it with not a legal leg to stand on. Hey, we've got a business making millions of dollars, but we don't want to actually pay the most important employees of that business. And they just keep going after it and losing. And like, no settlement, jury trial, let's go. And or judge trial, or bang, bang, bang. And they really just think they're going to walk in and everybody's going to be, you know what? These guys shouldn't get paid. And yeah, they should. Ass. Thought I had a companion. No, that lovely lady there by the lamp is my backpack. Andy, we need a holder for our kicking game. Do you have any eligibility to play D1 football? Not only, well, I do have eligibility, so I can't say that. But no, I have no desire to have large guys landing on me when they can't get the kicker. So, although it would be fun to score a touchdown on a fake, it reminds me of that. If you haven't seen this on YouTube or didn't see it on his old podcast, Pat McAfee telling the story about how Troy Polamalu, I believe the title of the video is Troy Polamalu is an asshole, and he was gonna, because he held on the kick, he punted, held on the kicks, and he was gonna pick one up, and Pittsburgh apparently had been allowing just this giant gap on their kick block, so he was just gonna pick up and just waltz into the end zone, and he goes out on the field and says, lines up, takes a look, and there's Polamalu standing right in that freaking gap, and he's just like screaming at the sideline, his coach, kick it, call it, kick it. And he's like, what, kick it? He's like, all right, just do the kick. And so they kick it. He's like, what the hell happened? He's like, Troy Polamalu was about to murder me. It's like, that asshole, how did he know? And he actually had him on the show a few weeks later, or maybe a year or two later. I think it was after he retired, and he was just laughing. He goes, I had no idea you were going to run a fake. It's just that week in film, we saw we had a gap, so they moved me into it. And I always enjoy that. I'm not ever in a hurry to pull a QB, but HH might have been a nice change of pace to allow the freshman to catch his breath and clear his head for a series, plan on it ahead of time. The point for me would not to pull it necessarily because Dylan was having a rough time, but just because of the why he was having a rough time, maybe get our running quarterback in there and go to the ground game and throw that X factor in. The other hand says, you, for experience sake, you play the long game and you let him work it out because it's Nebraska and he's going to have another windy game. And you leave him in there. You may not keep letting him cut it loose where it costs you the game, but you let him know it's like you're our guy. And you don't, I don't think, for me, you don't really start hooking the quarterback unless he's so god awful and has been consistently. You just got to do it. Up till now, he's been overall pretty stellar. He's been the highest rated freshman QB in the country. So that's the only reason it would give me pause. But you had me thinking though, maybe get the running quarterback in. So Andy would be a Bashini throw, but actually score. No, I could just see myself throwing that pass not as well and getting hit. And the only thing, not only is actually score not going to happen, but you're going to hear that scared silence fall over the crowd and hear the announcer go, "Oh God, I don't think he's getting up." So, yep. Oh, and Nebraska Rascal says Durango's a beautiful area. I lived in Cortez, Colorado for a year. Durango's awesome. It's kind of just become my go-to vacation, just because it's like you kind of feel like you're in the Southwest in Durango, but you go 20, 30 minutes north and you are in the mountains, baby. And it is unbelievably gorgeous. I've got pictures from last year when my son and I went hiking, and there's this beaver pond about 3.5 miles up this one trail. And we one night literally had 2 moose, 5 deer, particularly fat and fearless rabbit, and then 5 ducks on the pond. And I was going to lay down for a little while. Instead, just ended up taking video of the moose were maybe 30 yards away. Couldn't have been less interested in the people. They're just there to eat grass and drink water. You got to kind of go out of your way to piss off a moose, like get too close, like think, oh, look, the big dog. No, moose will fuck you up. Well, then the deer at one point reversed their field and went over and started drinking and nibbling where the moose had been. And all of a sudden, here's the moose crossing the trail about just 10, 15 yards away and go walking over. And you got to see how the moose was going to deal with us if they felt like we were too close and I didn't take a step closer to them. But they went out, the one goes out to that deer and then does this huff noise and takes about 4 hard full blast steps. And the deer just scattered, and then they just walked up, retook their their drinking and feeding ground, and off you go. But yeah, love the place. You had this one rabbit eating grass right next to my son. You had a deer just walk into our camp, just started nibbling grass probably 15 feet away from me. The animals get treated well up there now. I don't think they've had to do much hunting to keep the herds. It's not one of those places where the herd size is an issue. So I think you just got animals that are used to people leaving them alone, so they come around the animals more. So anyway, that's your nature talk for the night. See what else we got. Wonder what Rule means with HH deserving more playing time. Yeah, that's 100% what he's talking about. Is he's come in, he's come in, he's catching what they throw at him, and I think he's starting to think what I was thinking before I read that. I was thinking about Heinrich earlier today because I saw he's like 8 of 8 passing too, and I'm just like, this guy can break it, man. If you get the right play, you realize he gets behind that defense. Nobody's going to catch him on that other team. He is miles per hour the fastest guy on Nebraska. So yeah, I don't know how much tight end. I think he's just going to be tight end, like when you see Carter Nelson at tight end and Fedone at tight end. They're not necessarily lined up off the tackles too often. That's more of like London Meyer and those guys. But yeah, it's like because I was just seeing Raritan said HH at tight end. Interesting. But yeah, he's definitely faster than Fedone. I don't know. It's interesting. I think that's what that. I mean, I don't even think I will say 99.9%. That's what he meant. Is just he's making the most of his chances. I need to not be so scared of him getting hurt, our backup quarterback getting hurt, and get him on the field more. Let's see, Ramir and Harburg for a triple option series. Put it in the game plan. Then it's no hair. Yeah, Dalen's ass. HH just needs. We got Braska Rascal. HH just needs to stand on the sidelines and be QB too. Hey, no one's expected to. We never expect everyone to agree. Delicious. How much of it went in the freezer, Andy? How much of what went in the freezer? What was I talking about? Remind me. Just saw a post saying Kirby Smart to the Jets. No. Let's see. I could see Andy and John try to wrangle a moose. No, you couldn't. I could 100% sure you ain't nobody interested in that. Herbie the Husker needs to come back into the game as tailback. I think Herbie can help us put more points up on the board. 14 points going forward is not going to be enough to get a W. Like I said, when the wind was incredible. And then I just read a great little story on, hey, way to have a weather checker on the team. They based them which way they were going to take, I think, for the second half, because someone had gotten a report saying, hey, that wind is going to switch and start coming out of the north. So Rule did it to take it in the fourth quarter, and sure enough, it came out of the north, and Buschini got the wind behind him on that one. He boomed 69. So yeah, let's see. Fedone looks like he's on ice skates half the time. That's a big boy running around trying to be nimble sometime. I hear you. Oh yeah, the wildlife. No, none of it went in the freezer. I'm not a gun man. I love my hunter buddies because that I can eat the food they catch or help eat the food they catch and let them do all the hard work. But Scott Frost played for the Jets. Maybe they'll be calling him. I don't think so. Yeah. I just like this for the line. True Dat Pence talking about Fedone looking like he's on how he runs. That left knee shivers like a newborn calf every time he plants on it. Oh, geez. All right, let's see. Here's a few thoughts I had on the game. Rail, like I said, Rail is going to be fine. I'm not going to hold the way anybody threw in that game, kicked in that game whatsoever, against them whatsoever, until they do it in a normal game. I said, what was Shiano thinking? I'm still questioning it, even though Tony White went to a bigger line. It's just like he white flagged at that point. Okay, we're done with him. And he got back to him later in the second half, like 8 carries in the first quarter, and in the next 3 quarters, 11 carries for 15 yards. So it worked. Who knows? The wind skewed things, but that had nothing to do with the win there. I'm Shiano, I still want to see if I can pop him through. He didn't really start trying that again until mid-third quarter. And how are we feeling about our confidence in the D right now? They've looked good, but the only halt is going to kind of be the one we talked about last week and I wrote about last week. They're not playing very, very good teams right now. I was looking at Indiana and what they were ranked and everything. Well, skipping ahead to us, the Jeff Sagarin, and he's the one that does like a lot of the strength of schedule stuff. So he has us 28th in the country. Both polls have us 27th. We're second, I think, on both, and teams receiving votes. Our strength of schedule is number 93. So not exactly facing a murderer's row offense yet. We've done the job we had to do. The way we got run on by Illinois without anyone in particular, I can't really remember their running back's name. I remember their ex-running back's name against Purdue, Reggie Love, along with Devin Maccabee, and we held them both to less than half their season average. Good job. Monangai, he looked like the real deal running it, but apparently we made the adjustment and boom. So we've done all we can do. Now, Indiana, it's going to pump up a little. I'll get to Indiana in a sec. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Let's see. Let's talk about Indiana real quick because I wanted to. I may not be doing this next Tuesday. I was looking at how everything was going to schedule for a hike, and I might be up in the old mountains and woods on Tuesday night, so I might have to sit one out. We'll see how it works out, but be prepared. If it's going down, you'll see it pop up like it does on Monday on our YouTube channel. If not, hey, I need a break today. Not that it's going to be a break hauling my ass up there. So right now, Indiana 6-0, number 18 in one poll, number 20 in the other. And like I said, the Huskers are number 27. Strength of schedule, 115th. So, yes, they're better. And the main reason is that Kirk Signetti, and I'm telling you what, I saw him at Big Ten Media Days, and I thought we were seeing another Scott Frost performance on along the lines of, what was that? How will the Big Ten adjust to us? Or how will we adjust to the Big Ten? The question is going to be how they adjust to us, and we're going to do what we want, and all that crap. Well, that's kind of what Sig said. He's like, I didn't come in here to lose, man. And they were picked like last by some people, and he goes, I've only been picked to finish last with a team twice in my life. One time we turned around, we finished 8-4 and finished like fourth. The other time we made the conference championship game. So I'm telling you what, I didn't come here to lose. And it's just like, but you're walking in the Big Ten and you're telling everybody you're going to come in and kick ass and go at least 8-4 is what I heard. And well, now the way he did it came from James Madison, where he obviously had a bunch of success. They won 11-1 in the regular season last year, and then I believe lost to Air Force in the bowl game. They were ranked for a chunk of the season. So yeah, you bring in. Here, I just saw this pop up, and I would agree. He goes, Signetti's a great asshole. I love him. He already has more wins than Frost in the Big Ten. Well, I don't know if we're quite there yet. Probably maybe more than Frost had in the season. But yeah, he came off like, screw you guys. Like, I didn't come here to lose, baby. I came here to win, and good for you. And tell you what, right now he's doing it. He brought 13 transfers with him from James Madison, and didn't all come at the same time, but all ended up there, different reasons, all that, including their quarterback. Well, I'm sorry if most of those guys are starters and you infuse your guys with a bunch of starters from a ranked team, you're probably going to clean up the shit part of your schedule. And he's 6-0. We'll see what happens. Let's see that. And here's one thing, baby, we ended our one score game losing streak. Okay, 14-7. We had to shut down our offense in the second half, and finally they punched one in on a short field to get it to a one score game. But damn it, we won a one score game. So don't worry, be happy. We get to take aim at two more losing streaks at the same time. The first one, obviously, is we have not gone to a bowl game since 2016. We beat Indiana. We're going to a bowl game. That would be win number 6 and 6-1 going into Ohio State. What's that? 8 years without a bowl game. That's on the table. Also on the table is they've got a 25 game losing streak against ranked teams. Indiana's ranked in both polls. The last time we beat a ranked team was remember how weak this game ended up looking. We beat Oregon in 16 with Mike Riley, and they were ranked high, and everybody's like, "We're back. We finally have our signature win." And we didn't have our signature win. They went 4-8 that year. It was like Oregon's worst year in forever. But they were ranked at the time, so it counted. And then now the last time we won a game against a ranked team on the road, and I don't know how many more games pile on that 25 to get to that. 2011 at Penn State is our last road win against a ranked team. And would that be the one where we had the kicker, Pat Smith or something like that in like crappy weather banged like a 43-yarder to win it at the end of the game or an overtime or something like that? I just can't remember that. That just popped in my head. Where's James Boardman? He Googles these things for me. But anyway, we can take a couple other of the monkeys off the board there. And anyway, I think that was just about all I had for Indiana since we've got a week off. Here's one thing I want you to do in the comments, and we'll start talking about the grades. Tell me what you are doing for the bye week, that weekend, these 2 weeks, or the wrap around it. What are you doing? If you want to come up with some original, funny, or foul suggestions about what to do with the bye week, that's fine too. And then also, I'm grade anybody you want. I just wrote down like offensive line, running game, passing game, big plays, D-line, linebackers, D-back, like each position group, then special teams, run D, pass D. So feel free to, in the comments, to go throw it out there, and I'm just gonna run through how I grade some things, and a lot of it's I've seen some numbers. Here's some of their season numbers, just real quick. We're averaging 381 yards per game on offense, 244 through the air, 136 on the ground. That's got to be an improvement over last year, doesn't it, when we were averaging like 14, 15 points a game? And the reason is Dylan Raiola. We had no threat at all in the passing game last year. There was 1 point rule stuck his neck out, didn't wait to get asked at the Big Ten Media Days, was talking about our offensive line. He goes, how they didn't seem to get a lot of push. He goes, yeah, but he goes, you got to realize other teams had 8-9 in the box every play. They knew we were going to run. We couldn't pass very much. We had to run. So we're running. They know we're running, and these are good, tough teams we're playing. He goes, you're just not going to – if you've got nothing to back them off, we've got something to back them off. Little run game's improving some. We all want to see it at 278 yards a game. I get it. I figure if we're going to – I'd like to see us throwing for about 260 or 70 a game and running for about, 180 a game, maybe, the 170 to 200 range. If, that's not happening, this year as an average, definitely. I'd just like to see us starting to get that way. And even Raiola said, I didn't come here because I want to throw the ball 50, 60 times a game. He goes, I want to show I can run a balanced attack, take care of my job passing, but no, he was like, I don't need to be the show. And so far it's pretty balanced Nebraska-wise. Let's see, we have 2.7. What is this? We have about a 2.7 minute per game advantage in time of possession. So that's pretty even. That's not bad too, considering we were down about 40-20 against Northern Iowa. So we've gotten into Big Ten play and even that out. So that, to me, that's an improvement from what happened that game. Defensively, we're giving up 272 yards per game. Boom. Only 188 passing game. Anytime you can hold somebody under 200 passing, I'm happy with that. And 84 yards a game rushing. Like I said, Not a lot of great offenses yet, but getting it done. No, just leave it at that. Getting it done. Raiola on the season is even after the last game, he's 113 and 169, 66.9 passing. I think he's thrown for about 1,200 yards, something like that, or 1,400 yards, I think, which I think would triple Harburg last year. Dowdell has rushed 74 times for 354 yards. He's averaging 4.5 a carry. A lot of tough yards. Emmett's still averaging 5.9 a carry after averaging less than 3 yesterday. Ramir is averaging 4.1 a carry, but they didn't run him up the middle. I think they ran him up the middle once. If you haven't listened to me, I just stopped. I'm from the camp of quit running Ramir up the middle. Do what you're doing. Set him up with screens. Send it. Get him the ball in space. Throw to him, and he can understand. I think he's a pretty good pass blocker too. Or so put him in there like he's going to do something, leave him back to block, and they got to look for somebody else. But very happy to see he had a big game. Here's our guy, Ja'Cory Barney, 7 carries for 104 yards, averaging 14.9 a carry. And he's also caught 19 passes for 149 yards. We've spread the ball around to 16 total receivers, which if you ever look at the post-game stats, not a surprise at all. He's usually throwing to 9 different guys a game. I'm guessing we didn't hit that Saturday, but he shares the ball well. We have 20 sacks to our opponent's 12. We are +7 in turnovers right now. We only have 3. We have the fumble, or I think 4 now. I take that back. I think we have 4 now. We have the Dowdell fumble and Raiola's 3 interceptions, so make that +6. Will you take that after last year when we were -18 or 17 or something ridiculous like that? And here's a stat I love, and this is 100% the difference at quarterback this year. We are converting 43.6% of our third downs. You do that all year, you'll be fine if you're up in that area of third down conversion. I like that very, very much. Anything else? Yeah, I think our leading receivers, Nyor leads in yardage. He's got 17 catches, 291 yards, 4 touchdowns, averages 17.1 a catch. And Banks has more catches, 21 for 283 yards, 13.5 yards of reception, 2 TDs. Now, he's not in double figures in reception, but he's third on the team in yards. Take a wild guess. That's right. The only guy besides Marvin Harrison Jr. last year to have 3 or more touchdown catches of 50 or more yards. Jalen Lloyd, 6 catches for 181 yards, averaging 30.2 yards a catch. Holy damn, folks. All right, let's see what we've got now for – go back a little bit here. I like this. How has our engineering department not collaborated with UNMC to build the perfect knee? I don't know. All right, this is going to be a 2-fister here. A little Sailor and Diet and a little Propel. All right. Call the timeout there for the red zone because we're in it. We're about to score and end this one with the win. Let's see. And yeah, here we go. Indiana's scoring 47 plus a game, but who knows? Like I said, they are not playing very good teams. Obviously, the offense is improved though, because if you're the teams that are going out there scoring 47 against the bad teams, something's going right with your offense. Let's see. Rogie. Okay, if we beat Indiana, we're ranked 20. I don't think we're going to jump 7 spots for beating number 18 to 20, but we'll be ranked. We'll absolutely be ranked. And geez, it's like somebody said, hey, maybe game day comes to Bloomington, Indiana, or not to Columbus, Ohio. So who knows? Let's see. Oh, we've got an Angela Matney. Hey, Tiger Shark Diver. I just tuned in to see if you were here. God, we Tiger Shark Diver TSD has fans. I don't do it. I don't know what to do with myself during this bye week. Tell myself I'm going into the gym and diet starts Monday. See, and this is the thing where I'd be talking about. I'm going to start the diet after the bye week. So gain 10. My play gain 10 pounds bye week. Shit, TSD. 18 teams in front of us could lose the way this season's going. Right? Tiger Shark Dive. Hey, back at Angela Matney. Yeah, Justin Rogie. Here's a favorite, and I'll be doing this probably this Saturday. Watching football without the multiple heart attacks. Yep. Let's see. I think. Oh, it was 2011, the first game after Joe Pa got fired. Yeah, that was a shame. It made me really happy to go in, and that was like another one where we jumped out like 14-0 or something, I think, and hung on 17-14. But yeah, the last thing I wanted Penn State having after all that shitty behavior was a win, because then the crowd was like going to be acting like it was some weird healing moment. No, you all are freaks. What Hunter S. Thompson would say, you're decadent and deranged. It's like you spent years trying to put the statue back of a guy that knew this was going on under his nose and just chose not to. Never mind. All it takes is a little Penn State or circa 2011 talk to set me off. Yep, true Pitt. It's been a free for all. Crazy that BYU, Army, Navy, Liberty are undefeated. Right? Yeah, no kidding. Army, Navy has me stoked for this year's hate week. Pitt says, my brother's Army, and we spend that week talking shit and sending awful pics and memes. One week you hear to get out all your hate. I suppose it's cathartic. I'm assuming at this point, Pitt, is this Pitt snipe? Because I feel like bringing up Battleship again so you can tell us how unrealistic the Battleship in the movie about fighting aliens was. That did crack me up. It was awesome. He also says, Sailor Jerry's the best. You're making me jealous. I might have to get some tomorrow. Ha ha. Of course I'm making you jealous. You called me out. God damn it. I'm like Pavlov's dog. I see Sailor Jerry, and without even being aware I'm doing it, I just grab for the drink. Yep. Tiger Shark's right. We can dream. We could be ranked this week for doing nothing. Yeah. Just by hanging around, somebody's going to lose. It might be ranked versus ranked again. Blaine Cole, Pitt, how hard is it, Greg? If you can find it, I also recommend Black Seal. It is what the British Navy drank. That sounds terrible. I mean, the drink's probably wonderful, but that's just a gross name. But I'm just picturing like a seal covered in tar. Wow, USC went from number 11 to out of the top 25 after Minnesota beat them. Didn't see that. USC, I felt like it at the time. People were acting like they had beaten the defending national champions when they beat LSU that first week. And I said, it's like, I don't know. They still have to come into the Big Ten. They weren't a bang it out team, go nose to nose team that definitely looked improved against LSU. But hey, here comes another team. Thought they might be lighten it up a little in the Big Ten, and finds themselves getting pounded on by some not so great, but we line up Big Ten teams. I watched that game. That was pretty good. Hunter S. Thompson reference. I didn't see that coming. I love Hunter. So many ways. just a wonderful. If you ever get a chance, I know it's posted on Grantland, but find the first. I think it was his first article, like feature article ever wrote. It was for an old publication called Scanlon's, and it was about the Kentucky Derby, like in the late 60s, early 70s, when protesting was on. And he was there making people think that the Black Panthers were going to come in and try and like stage a demonstration or cause trouble, and he's just like talking about how decadent and deranged everybody at the Kentucky Derby is, how what a shit show the infield were, because people just packed the infield to stand around and watch and be part of it, and he said it was just a muddy mess with dirty drunks and hippies everywhere. It's just one of the funniest things I've ever read. And they speak about like what they went through to get the article published, because he was so wrecked all the time. They just found all these piles of notes he'd written and scraps and the spare like typewritten sheet. And yeah, just if you just search Grantland Hunter S. Thompson, it'll be the thing that pops up for you because Grantland did a special on him once. Yeah, but Michigan from 24th, they got in the top 10. Are you shitting me? Oh God, now they're overranked. Jeez, Louise. Oh no, they're out of the top 10. No, because they lost to Washington. Yeah, they didn't deserve to be in the top 10. They got overhyped for beating USC, and now then Minnesota beats USC. So then they loaded an extra clip into their drop, probably for not just losing to Washington, but now your good win doesn't mean dick anymore either. So yeah, if you're a true-blooded American, you're supposed to root for Army or Navy. I don't know, man. I just thought about watching The Guardian again. I might have to go with Kevin Costner's Coast Guard. I'm kidding, of course. I mean, not about The Guardian. That's a great movie. There we go. Battleship is still bullshit. I might have to see if I can get a special dispensation from those producers to let me do a live running commentary of Battleship on YouTube with the comments open, and Pitt Snipe just fouled up on every illegal and illegal substance known to man, and just letting fly in the comments about Battleship. Oh God, let's see. British ships have bars. They are the most dangerous bastards on the planet to drink with. I don't remember that week at all. I don't know. You got some Russians that can put it away in pretty big quantities too. Is there a way to make that like an international? Well, I know the Olympics won't do it, pussies. It's like they'll let people bounce balls around with sticks and run around with ribbons, but we can't have a good old fashioned drinking contest. Oh well. Let's see. You root for both, Tiger. Husker and Hanover. Don't care who wins. Let me duck. I don't want to get hit by those bullets. Thanks for coming in, Husker. Let's see. Pitt, both TSD, but during hate week, you're allowed to pick a side. Let's see. So Joseph. Yeah, Michigan shouldn't be ranked at all. Evanception. I'm with you. And it's, well, okay, sure. The cheating, but I don't know if you punish for the cheating now. It's taking care of itself. It's like now they don't. Not only do they not know the plays that are coming in anymore, but even if they did, you've lost 9 starters on offense. I'm not sure how many starters on defense, but I think 4 or 5 NFL draft picks. You don't come back from that and just get slotted in as hey, number 2 in the Big Ten and got to make the playoff and all that. No, I said before the season, it feels like an 8-4 type of situation, and maybe worse. Who knows? Illinois loses to Penn State, but goes up 2 spots in the AP poll. I'm not down with that. I don't know. I guess if it comes time to rank us, the people who spend next to no time actually studying for those rankings, they just see them a little higher, maybe bump us up a little because that makes it more of a quality loss. People are saying hi, Nate. Oh, okay. Pitt says NATO headquarters in Naples is a fun multinational port. See, okay, hold it in Naples then. The International Drinking Contest, Naples. Yeah, BYU is a sneaky good team this year. I sneaky good team. I agree. All right, I'll roll through. Keep throwing in comments if you want to comment. I'm just going to go down, and instead of the grades, we'll go to the movies, and instead of meaning 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5, or 5, 4, 3, 2, or 1 for their movie grade, our former coaches are going to be A, B, C, D, and F. So there's your A, there's your B, there's your C, there's your D, and there's F is as low as I can go. So offensive line. They've slipped a little, and it's just because of the pass blocking kind of going to crap at the wrong time. I would think the wind shouldn't affect you, so I'm going to say that's a problem. Rutgers hasn't had the best defense all year, and they were starting to kind of run free at the end of that game, like we did to them. So we're going to go ahead, and I'm going I'm going to give you both. It's a C, but I'm going to stick with what I said earlier. It's a C minus. Um, the run game. Let's leave Bo up there. I'm going to call it. It's a C or C plus. It's not bad, but one thing I want to see out of a run game all the time is big plays. All the big plays are coming in the passing game. We're getting a lot of big plays. A running big plays like 15 yards. I think Emmett had the 41 yarder early in that was UTEP, and UTEP's UTEP. I mean, I'm happy but I don't think we've got one over 20 since then. If we do, not by much. So that's a C. That's just a straight C. And then the pass game, I'm gonna go ahead and go with a B on the pass game, maybe a B minus. But take out last game. That's still running at a 70% clip almost. They're getting big plays. They're getting deep balls. I'm not unhappy that it's the pass game. I think it's definitely the best part of the offense right now. I'm going to call that a B. And big plays, I'm going to leave that up there and give us a B plus. But it doesn't get into A status because I think for a while there we were right there with the best teams in the country with the most big plays. But you want to get into the A, you've got to get some out of the running game too. D line. Tell you what, D line. Let's go ahead. I'm going to go B plus on the D line. The not great Illinois great game at the end. Not great. Got pushed around. So we'll say room to improve, but they bounced back from that. Indiana and Ohio State are going to tell us a lot about the D line and the linebackers. Linebackers, I might just have to leave Bob up here for a minute. Linebackers, I'm going to give us like a BB plus. They've been flying to the ball, making plays. I do not think the D line or the linebackers were responsible for the missed tackle issues there for a couple of games. So I'm not going to take it out on them. What I will go down to is back to my C for the defensive backs. They're getting some picks. They're doing all right, but they were having the tackling problems. Sayre Wright is getting a lot of tackles. He's not afraid to come up and make some contact from the corner position. So I think there's just more room for improvement there. And maybe I'm being a little tough there. When you're 5-1, you probably should be getting, mostly B's with a couple of C's scattered in. I don't think we've hit the A level on anything. The run D right now, the run D, I'm just good just because of the one game, same thing. I'm just going to call the run D like a B plus. It's bounced back. These are all grades that get into jeopardy against Indiana and Ohio State though. But so far so good. And the pass D overall, I'll give the pass D a B minus. So, guy had all these things, and I think I basically just threw Bob and Bo up there a bunch. Oh, we do have to do special teams, don't we? Yeah, that's your D. That's Frankie. It really was. I will say, it was probably D minus anyway because Bashini's had been having a good year, and then holy shit, he gets blocked twice. He takes a delay of game. When you take delay of games on things like punts, field goals, what's the other one I was trying to think of? Not special teams, punts, field goals. Oh, and the first play out of a timeout, like a quarter break, a TV timeout, whatever, and you go up and take a delay of game out of a timeout. That's inexcusable. So, but anyway, before that, I still would have given it a D minus. It was fast turning to an F. If they kept getting blocked, or if Bashini got the shanks, and we started missing extra points, any combination of those, then, and I'm just going to show you, you're getting our F grade. Yeah. What's funny about giving people the F is it's Mike Riley going, "Hey, sprinkles anyway, baby, love you." We're all going to Hardee's for burgers after. We lost 73-7. But anyway, that's my grades. Let me see. I see everybody dove in there. Let's see what we got. Evan Seption. Okay, fair question. Any chance if James Franklin gets hired at Florida, could we lose Matt Rule to Penn State? Saw an article that he might be one of their top candidates. Might be BS. he's absolutely going to be one of their top candidates. You don't even need to, if James Franklin gets hired at Florida. It's just if James Franklin is fired or leaves, he's going to be at the top of their wish list. Will he go? That's going to be up to him. The AD is a friend of his. Obviously, he played there. I don't know. That would be a tough one to take. It's one of those where it's like, we already had Trev bounce out, and Trev played here, and then you got Matt, who's just the wife owns a business, the kids going to school here. We are not going anywhere. Boom! I am here. I'm committed to Nebraska. That just, and the thing is, Franklin's doing great. I don't think he wants to leave Penn State. I don't think Florida's a job you leave Penn State for necessarily. That feels more lateral. So I'm not that worried about that. But if the day comes where he leaves, gets kicked out, whatever, you can bet that regardless of Rule's feelings, he's going to be one of the first guys they call, especially if he keeps doing with us what they're doing. It's a fair worry. You just have to hope he means what he says. And I will say that like it's easy. Just I'm not even worried about it. Oh, I'm terrified. I do not want him to go if that happens. Let's see. Hey, TSD, quick call out. Hope all of our Florida Husker fans are safe from this hurricane. And I hope all of our North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia fans, people in the mountains up there from the last hurricane are doing all right. That I lived in Asheville for 5 years, decades ago before I moved to Nebraska. And the idea of that place flooding is just kind of makes me like, how? That's some kind of storm. Let's see what we got here. Yep. Can't worry. And I see I'm not the only one good. I wasn't the only one worrying. Yep. Pass game equals Devaney mostly because of DR. Wide receivers need to get open more effectively. Sure. And that's the thing. And the thing I like about him too is he doesn't, if it's not there, he is taking it to heart. Just don't make the big mistake. That being said, when he sees somebody, he sees that little window that's maybe not there for anyone else, he doesn't hesitate. He throws it in there, and more often than not, he gets it in there. He is not afraid to throw into a tight spot. But how to put this? Like, he's not doing it out of desperation. He's doing it out of confidence, and that's what you want. You don't want the guy throwing it away 8 times a game. Whoops, he's only got a step and a half on his defender. So you don't want that, but you want to be smart. I will tell you this: coach after coach loves to say, "Hey, what do you want out of your quarterback? Protect the ball. Don't give it away." And Kirby Smart's number one thing is he says, and right now you're kind of seeing it's something that Carson Beck may not have, that Stetson Bennett had fistfuls of. He goes, "I want a guy when we've got third down and it breaks down, can be creative and get us a first down. When you have to throw the script away, he goes, I want a guy who can create first downs on his own when it happens." And that was like Stetson Benson's like super friend power. Stetson Bennett's is just the wild things running. I remember because he developed that, or I should say probably developed it and was given a leash to do it the longer he was there. At first, it was just, nope, you do your handoffs, stick to the script, that sort of thing. And then when all right, hey, you see something open, go for it. So they don't just willy-nilly, hey, get out there and start doing Pat Mahomes across the body sidearms and shit. But, yeah, if you saw Ben, I mean, let's put it this way. The guy won 4 consecutive college football playoff game MVPs. He won 2 of them. Was it 2021 and then 2 more in 2022. That something else. But yeah, keep in mind, and I think Rules, he still wants that ball protected, but he's got a little of that in him. He's like, if you can make a play, go make a play. Break out of that pocket. If there's nothing there, extend the play and make something happen and go after it. So anyway, should be clear. James Franklin is one of Florida's top candidates. Yeah, we'll see. And James Franklin might also really be happy at Penn State, and Florida's going to get him a raise. So I'd stay their top candidate too if it meant that my current employer was going to pay me more. Teams are obviously getting more film on our offense and our motion runs. Yeah, that's fine. I like how we're mixing it up last year. I think you've got the answer to your question. Well, in first halves anyway. Can you run some more creative plays? Because last year, jack shit. Well, yeah. Now I've got a quarterback who actually has elite NFL level arm talent, has a head for the game. Yeah, we're going to do more different fun stuff with a guy like that and some better athletes. And if they can get, now it all breaks down. This is an offensive line is a huge part of that, because for some of this stuff, it's not going to be a 1-2 bang play. It's going to be, hey, we need you to open a hole. We need you to open this. We need you to hold those blocks for a couple extra seconds without getting a holding call. Yeah. They're getting film, but we're getting better and doing better things too. Let's see. Franklin got any? What do we see here? Franklin got any Florida ties? I can't remember. He came from Vanderbilt, so he's got SEC ties. I'm pretty sure he came from Vanderbilt. Let's see. Yeah, like I said, it could be BS for clicks. Yeah, they haven't even fired their coach. Barring a miraculous turnaround, they're going to fire their coach. He even went to the well to make fun of the fans at one point. It had to play. He was mad about stuff online, so he had to play the idiots on Twitter card at a post game press conference. It's like, once you start insulting the fans and you can't win, it's pretty much everybody knows how that's going to end. TSD, the only thing I'm confident about is that Satterfield has 4 more variations on that jet suite option. Yeah. Let's see. It's the counter and trap sections of the playbook. Exactly. The running game needs some misdirection. I get that sometimes it's like you just want to show how big your dick is and line it up and do like the 95 Huskers and tell them what play we're running. And they're doing that. Just like the and run right at them and dare them to stop you. It's like to stop you. Dare's being accepted when you do that. It's okay to try and work that power. Sometimes you start wearing them down, opening up some holes, etc. But you know what else it opens up is they become so convinced you're going to do that is all it takes is one counter going for about 25 yards, and all of a sudden those knuckles aren't white on the ground anymore. There's blood running through those heads because they're not sure anymore. PJ Fleck and Franklin belong together. Yeah, Fleck's a douche knuckle. I'll tell you this about James Franklin, and this is more like Big Ten Media Day stuff where you get to see him talking. I'm not there yet because he still he doesn't do douchey things to the level of Peach, but he does douchey things. Franklin's kind of a good guy. The couple times I saw him talk, he's upbeat. He didn't seem to be like the pissy press conference guy, but upbeat. Definitely has that aura around him, that charisma. That comes off of him in person. It really does. And he's actually a guy I wouldn't mind having a beer with or having a drink with, because that's kind of how I judge how I feel about a coach. Would you like to actually sit down in his company and talk to him about football, whatever? Like Mike Leach was always like number one on that list. Franklin's getting towards that list. He just seems like he'd be interesting and fun to talk to. And I wouldn't have said that just from watching pressers, like post-game press conferences where he's mad at everything or it seems like it's all a bit of an irritant. So yeah, I'm kind of come around on James Franklin. Would be interested in seeing when and if we get into a track meet like OSU. Does the staff tell them to push the ball downfield, accept 50-50 and chuck it? Will DR be able to flip that switch? I think DR's like he's ready to go in the second half. They've just been getting those leads and admittedly trying then to grind it out. I think you need a go for the throat type of thing, or type of attitude. You need to go in, smash that one more touchdown down their throat, little play action, huck one deep, then really get it out of range. And now Saturday, I don't know that you want to go airing it out for surprises, especially with the wind mid-changing directions, and now you're getting more of a crosswind on that field. It tore me. Because I'm usually, what the hell, you're only up 14-0. I watched Frost lose so many of those going in with a big halftime lead and take his foot off the gas, just try to run out 30 minutes of clock. And then I remember specifically like Northwest doing it once, I believe. Penn State did it once, and you're just sitting there, and it's making the second half unbearable. I mean, even with Casey Thompson, with Mickey there, we go up 24-0 or whatever, and then they put in the lefty quarterback, and all of a sudden it's like 24-14 or 24-17, and here they come, and it's just like, instead of enjoying an ass whipping over Iowa, we just throw it into reverse and just watch them catch up. And then at the end, you're not, woohoo, you beat Iowa. It's like, you're just like, thank God, we beat Iowa. So I don't know. I get it. The name of the game is to win. Rule thinks he has an answer. It hasn't bitten him yet. So maybe we just have to have a little trust here. And then if that trust blows up in our face, hey, we've got our Twitter, we've got our podcast. You make it happen at the wrong time, Coach Rule. We'll turn on you. No, just kidding. We love you, Matt. Speaking of track meets, Indiana might be a good warm-up for the Bucknuts. Yeah, agreed. You're definitely gonna have to stop some offense. Aaron took off. Aaron, as always, thanks for stopping in. And I would say, let's see. I'm not saying they should be pushing the ball downfield more. Can they? Yeah, it's just, can our receivers consistently get open downfield? I don't, with Nayor especially, and even Banks to some extent, I don't have a problem with, hey, tightly covered one-on-one. Do your best to do your best to put that ball deep somewhere that gives him the best chance. But if it becomes a one-on-one, man, we might have to do that. Trust that he can go up against some Ohio State, probably 4 or 5 star defensive backs, and trust him to go up and get that. Well, I think Nayor was a 4. Was Nayor a 4-star? Maybe not, because he went to Wyoming first. Still kills me that Banks was thinking of Harvard and what was the other one? Harvard and no, speaking of Army, Navy, Army, going to Army. But anyway, yeah. So that's about it for the evening. Hour 40, not too bad. Well, guys, thank you very much. I hope I didn't look too sleepy tired up here tonight. It's just after having the eyes open all day, they're probably getting a little red, and I got to get these contacts out. But I really appreciate everybody showing up tonight. It's kind of fun to just do it in a hotel and have that. Did you ever hear that air conditioner kick in? It's one of those air conditioners that occasionally sounds like that car that won't start for you on a snowy day. It's cranking up and throwing some metal around in the starter there. But no, good times. We got through Rutgers. Hey, we won ugly. Remember that? It's like everybody's like, hey, that's ugly. It's like, well, all we've been doing lately is losing ugly. We'll take win ugly any day of the week in this conference, especially Rutgers. I heard that I know that Matt Rule's slowly getting turned into Pelini by these refs. He's starting to lose his damn mind out there. But it sounded like good old Greg Schiano was just going off. I think it was more his team or whatever, because he said really nice things about Matt Rule after the game. But it sounded like he was going over today. Maybe we got to start a GoFundMe. Tell everybody it's for Matt Rule referee therapy sessions, and then we'll just see how much money we raise in a couple weeks and meet at a bar in Lincoln, and just because can you actually get in trouble for not spending GoFundMe money the way you promised? Unless Matt Rule decides he really wants that therapy, or either that or he's got to come drinking with us. But anyway, that's it for tonight. Thanks so much. Look, I'm even wearing my Durango, Colorado t-shirt. Going to be there tomorrow. My hope is to be at Wolf Creek Pass around lunchtime. Let's see. Yeah, probably around like lunch, late lunch, maybe. Just depends when I get going. Because I've always made a habit. I started a hike from there once, but the Continental Divide Trail actually crosses the highway at Wolf Creek Pass. And so I can go on, throw my day pack on, and go about probably close to 1,000 feet up in about 1.5 miles. It's like 1.5 miles up to the ridge, and then you can go another few hundred yards to where it intercepts the trail coming in from the radio tower that's over there about 0.5 mile. And then there's just a beautiful view of the mountains in the other direction, so you can actually see the divide from the like two sides of a ridge. I'm not doing it justice, but trust me, it's beautiful. Next time I'm back, I'll try and I'll bring a few pictures and throw them up. And who knows? Sometimes after driving 3 or 4 hours, than hiking to the top of the hat, you feel about just throwing up in general. So maybe I'll throw up pictures and throw up on trail. So with the vomit talk taken care of, good night, everybody. Go to bed, pink eye. Hey, no, thank you, Justin, and getting us out of here. Tiger Shark Diver, go Big Red, and thank you. I will have a good trip. You guys have a great week. Like I said, maybe not next Tuesday. I've got one like 2 or 3 day thing, and that might be the window it fits in. And if it's the case, geez, we've been including the movies. I think we've been together for a few. I guess I took a couple weeks off there, but if I'm not there next Tuesday, please forgive me, and I'll be back the following. I promise. Go Big Red. Have a great week, everybody. And hold on, I got to put our post show stuff up. See you guys.